First of all, tremendous crowd there today. What was just the feeling when you go out and you see people up to the top row on both sides of the gym?
Yeah, I think we all stand like behind a curtain before we go out and we watch our intro video every year, and to just kind of stand there and see like it pretty much filled like through the rafters. It was so cool, and I just told us like before we went out, like take this all in, having that big like crowd there to support us. It's so cool.
Yeah. Seeing people in like up in the corners was crazy. We probably looked so tiny. There's so many people there. This is only my second year, and that is probably one of the biggest crowds that I've ever competed in front of. It was awesome.
Coach, from week 1 to week 2, what kind of progress did you see in the team? With the second chance out.
Well, each meet is a little different. Each week is a little different. So now we're coming back, and I think sometimes the second meet is more challenging than the first meet, just because you're coming back, you're having to get into recovery mode, but turn it around quickly and, get right back into things. So it was, that part of it came through a little bit. We saw a little bit of ups and downs in warm-ups, a little tightness, but it was a good thing for us. I mean, we have to have that type of adversity so that we can learn how to regulate our bodies and make sure that we compete in more of a relaxed mode and not so tight. And we started to try to push through things in warm-ups rather than just let things happen. So I was proud that they really came through in the competition, and we saw some growth that way from the first competition to this one, with a few hiccups even during the week, I would say, in practice, and then got back into it. So it'll be nice. We're not traveling next week, and so we'll have tomorrow to recover a little bit and then get right back to it on Monday.
Sage, how do you feel about those scores on vault and what bars? Pretty good numbers.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're good.
It starts with an S, right?
The scores today, how did you feel like you did?
Well, I didn't really take scores into consideration of how I did. I just kind of went out there and did what I have to do, and the scores, you never really know what that. This year it's really different, and they're much lower, but I don't really focus on that as much. But today I think I did way better than I did last week.
Okay, gotcha. And Lauren, a second week on the beam. Start to feel like you're getting back into a little bit of a routine. What's that?
Yeah, definitely. I think orange and black, and then even the first week out of like just trying to find my footing and kind of remember what it's like to compete. So being out there for a second week, having such a big crowd and like my team behind me and Gil, it was really special, and I'm starting to like find my rhythm, which is nice.
Are you mostly going to focus on beam this year? Is there any chance of doing something else, or is this a year for beam?
Yeah, I think I really put like a lot of focus into beam this year, and I kind of like just want to see where I can go with that and kind of leaving options open in the gym, but for now, yeah, beam.
When you came in, maybe more of an all-around sort of approach, or doing a little bit more mentally, how much of an adjustment is it when you do one thing and that sort of thing? How is that different mentally to approach that?
Yeah, I mean, I think coming in as a freshman, like I wasn't really sure where I was going to do, and then I ended up doing 3 events for 2 years, and really got used to that, really got into a rhythm of going to vault, having a little bit of break on bars, and then really locking into those last 2 events. So now, like, I put all of my focus into the team for those first 2, and then beam, it just kind of comes, and we do what we do as a team up there, and then just kind of lock back into the team on floor and have a floor party with them.
Questions for both Sophia and Lauren. I want to start with Sophia first. Just for both of you, though, on the balance beam, the routine that you did, both of you had a lot of extra energy. It felt like when you landed your stick. Why did you feel like that was the case? Was this something you were working on? Did it feel like you just executed what you were going to? Just what was kind of going through your emotions specifically on the beam?
I got really excited because it was a pretty good beam routine for myself. Well, my first series on beam, it wasn't exactly what I was supposed to do, but I covered up really well, and I stayed with it. And once I stuck it, it felt really, really good because all that hard work during the week, just to stick at a meet, it feels really good to do that.
And then Lauren, for you yourself.
Yeah, I think for myself, the last year kind of put me through like some of the hardest times of my life. So to be out here competing with my team and with Beaver Nation, just to stick the landing and have it kind of all come together right at the end, yeah, it just means so much.
Sophia, you said right now the scores aren't where you want them to be right now. So what are you doing mentally to try and keep yourself focused, knowing that, again, this is a very long season, that maybe throughout as the season kind of progresses, those scores will eventually come. What are you doing right now to kind of stay positive in the moment?
I'm kind of just going with it. Mentally, just take it one day at a time, improve 1/10 better each day, get more confident up there, and try not to focus on what other people think.
Does it help to have teammates like Lauren and Jade and Keelan and so many others to
Yeah.
keep you positive?
Yeah, for sure. They just tell me to be in the moment, do your normal, and you'll do fine.
Coach, for you, obviously, BYU had a couple of stumbles in the uneven bars or in the early going, which kind of let you guys get to an early lead. After that kind of first series on the ball, what did you kind of tell them, considering that it really felt like momentum and, a sport where at a moment anything can change, gave you guys a little bit of advantage in the early going?
Well, you're definitely right. Anything can change at any moment, and that could change for us as well. So really, I didn't truly look at what BYU did, and we call it the Beaver bubble. We try to stay within our own little bubble and focus in on what we need to do, and I was proud of them with the vaults that they did. They increased and they grew from last week. The landings were better, just the dynamics. So I was really thrilled to see that progress. And then we switch and flip into bars and try to breathe a little bit to relax even more so that those bar workers can really swing, because bars is impossible tight. So it's just everyone trying to feel that going into it. So we're really focused in on what we're doing, not really truly what the other team is doing. And I think that is a strength that this team has had this year. They're not looking like, what is that other team doing? Because that can tighten you up, and you can try to do something more than, what you do is good enough. And when you try to do something more, it changes what you're doing. So it's something that we're working on each week, even in the gym. And it's when you're on an event, can you stay focused for that entire time that you're on that event and not letting things go out to the other way? Because then when you come to the competition floor, you're able to focus just in on what we're doing.
Yeah, and kind of going off of that, I'll ask you, Sophia, of course, gymnastics, we all know, is a mental sport, so much so. But now that you're able to, reflect kind of on how you guys did, and knowing that BYU is also in those road to national rankings as well, and your performance against them today, knowing that those scores are going to be a little bit lower this year, does it give you guys, feeling pretty confident after, everything was kind of said and done?
I think we definitely felt confident after this meet. We worked really, really hard this week on the little details, and it really showed today. But we still have a lot to work to do, and we're really excited.
So yeah, I'm just curious, at the very end, I just watching you talking with Jade, he gave her a little salute. I'm just curious what was going on in the interaction, what she saying, and how did you respond?
Well, she was just telling us, if you get called up for a flower, just stay there. And I was like, yes, ma'am.
It really seems like the last couple of years with this unit, it's always been there. But this year, just, I don't know, it feels like something maybe a little bit different. Maybe it's a little bit more silly, a little bit more loose, and maybe that's a good thing. Who do you think kind of brings that? Is it something altogether? Is there someone that really sparks that on this team that brings that kind of out of you guys for both Lauren and Sophia?
I think this year we are really, really connected. Compared to last year, I think we are far more connected. We're all really goofy and silly, so we all just have kind of the same personality almost. And I think everyone really brings something different to the team.
Yeah, I think earlier this year we have a team retreat at the start of every year, and we got really close and talked a lot about how together we want to be and all in. So yeah, I think there's definitely some really silly personalities on the team, and everyone just kind of vibes off that, and it just kind of grows, and yeah.
Coach, you want to chime in at all? Maybe silly is choose the energy.
Well-
Maybe how does that help the team?
I think, you know, even our captains are very, very different, and they bring a different strength to the team. And I think that is what has been huge with this group, is they've really embraced each other's differences and really, I mean, accepted who each one of them are and allows them to flourish and be who they are completely. That makes all the difference in the world, because then you're not going, I mean, then you can relax and you can compete the way you want to compete. If you feel like you're changing it to fit into a team, you're not really going, it's like a rubber band, you're gonna snap. So I think that that has been huge for this team. It's a big part of what they've worked hard on, because they knew that that was gonna be a big determiner on what we wanted to do for the future and where we wanted to go.
Just looking at the scores, it doesn't look like there's, like, all 4 rotations. It doesn't look like there's like a, for lack of a better word, a problem rotation this year. In the past couple of years, there, you know, you've been replacing gymnasts in various groups and had to build up over the course of the year. The consistency looks really good on the 4 rotations through 2 meets. How do you feel about just that aspect of the team?
Yeah, I think, you know, we've been working on our depth. Last year, we lost a lot of athletes. And, you know, we were kind of going through who's healthy to go. This year, it's really continuing to work our depth. So we had athletes working on the events that were open, that were not competing, so that they're ready to go. We've changed athletes in and out of lineups. These lineups aren't the same as what we did last week. And to be able to make those changes and plug different people in and not see a drop but an increase each time is huge. So yeah, it's something that we have to keep working on, because I think too, these athletes learned last year, things can change on a dime. I mean, it can change quickly and you have to be ready to go. And the more flexible they are and willing to be able to go, okay, you're calling me up, I'm ready to go. That is something that we're trying to continue to build on going into the rest of season.
We saw a lot of girls go all the way around today. Just what was maybe the benefit of that decision and how you came to, you know, that conclusion that you're having athletes do every rotation?
So Jade was the only one all-arounder, but Soph did 3 events. And some of them, like KG did 3 events, but she did an exhibition on one, so wasn't actually in lineup. So we are trying to use those exhibition spots, and you might see different people. We talked about this in the gym, actually. My goal is to get different people in those exhibition spots to give them as much experience as possible, so that I think last year we had to fill almost 3 or 4 slots from the original lineup that we had, which is 2/3 of our lineup. It's huge. And so we want to be able to do that seamlessly. If that happens, you don't even know, it might not be an injury. It could be someone sick or someone just has an off day. We want to be able to put the best 6 up there. So our job is to push everyone, and those that are pushing to get in lineups make the lineup even stronger as well, because no one just assumes they're going to be in lineup.
And Sophia, what do you think what do you think it just is the biggest step that the team kind of took forward today?
Like I said before, we worked really hard on the little details, the handstands on bars, the sticks, you know, go big for everything. I think we really improved from last week about that. And like I said, again, we have a lot of work to do, and I'm really excited to get back to it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you coming out.